your money, your taxes, your truck, and your road to success in the trucking industry. This is Trucking Business and Beyond, the show that puts the money where it belongs, back in your pocket.
Good morning, you beautiful bunch of fuckers, and welcome to my world. Happy New Year. It's great to be back. Had a little moment of panic there. I hit the ad this morning to get things started, and I didn't hear anything, so I don't know if anybody else did or not. Looks like I'm here. I can hear myself. Everybody's hearing me. Well, thanks, Aaron. Let's try this. Why is that not working? I feel like an amateur. I take a week off and I can't figure out how to do anything. There we go. Let's try this. There, we're all set. All right, let's get down to business. I got a lot to talk about today and not a lot of time, but phone lines are open. Jump in and join me. 855-950-3835. Looks like calls are starting to come in already, so I may not spend a lot of time on my open. If we've got calls, I'll get to them. I can save some stuff for tomorrow or next week. So one of the things I'm working on, I'll probably be talking about it quite a bit next Wednesday. DMSO. Mentioned it a couple times last week, found some time to really do some reading on it. And boy, I'll tell you, this is almost the exact same playbook the FDA used with ivermectin during COVID. I found a video from 60 Minutes in 1980, and it was really interesting to watch. So they're interviewing the guy from the FDA, and the first question, or one of the questions in this video, is how many deaths have been attributed to DMSO? Because at the time, the FDA had not approved it. It was completely illegal, except Oregon. The doctor who did a ton of research on it was here in Portland. And the answer was, well, nobody's died from it. Well, how many people got sick? Well, nobody really got sick, but the side effects, a skin rash where you put it on, or at least some redness, hives in a few people. You might experience headache or nausea. And the only thing that was absolutely positive as a side effect was a garlic taste. That's how potent this stuff is. You put it on your skin, you will taste it in your mouth. And it's garlic, and it's strong, and well, I haven't tried it, so I can't experience that, but I've been around somebody who is using it, and it's a pretty noticeable odor. I had no idea how safe this stuff really is, because in the military, we used it as a solvent. And I thought, wow, no wonder why you shouldn't use this stuff on your body. Except it is so safe. The doctor that kind of pioneered it here in Portland, you can inject this stuff intravenously. That's how safe it is. No real known side effects, no dangers whatsoever. But what the FDA said was, there's no proof. And 60 Minutes showed them test after test, all kinds of proof of how well it works. But the FDA said, but they're not double-blind, placebo-controlled studies. Well, you can't do a double-blind study on DMSO because of that garlic taste. Double-blind means nobody can know who got the drug you're testing and who got the placebo. And if there's any way to know that, then double-blind just won't work. So that was the FDA's excuse. But to listen to this interview was just absolutely crazy. Multiple studies on this, even back in 1980. It's been around since the 60s, I think. This disappeared. Like I said, it was a big thing in the 80s, and then it just disappeared. The FDA worked hard to not approve this, and Big Pharma said, not no, but hell no, because you can't patent it and it's dirt cheap. So it's another one of those drugs, though, or compounds that when you, I don't even want to call it a drug because it's natural. Um, when you look at the studies, it is incredible all the things this works and helps with. I've ordered some. There's some really nice products on the market now, really well formulated creams, very natural. They put some other healing herbs in the creams. I'm hoping to get it soon. For me, um, the best use for me would be muscle pain, and that is one of the most common uses. Seems to work incredibly well. You just rub it on, pain goes away, swelling goes down, inflammation goes away. No matter how healthy I eat, in fact, it seems like the healthier I eat, when I work hard or overwork a muscle, I get a lot of muscle pain and it goes away. And I know that's a healing process, but it's it's really uncomfortable. And then it kind of slows me down for a day or two. And I've used cannabis for it, but that's not a great solution. I get lots of calls from people who need some help with joint pain and muscle pain, and none of the solutions that we currently use are good. In fact, I would say cannabis is the best, but it has some issues that, if you can get low enough THC, um, it might work, but that doesn't work for drivers at all. In fact, drivers, I tell them you shouldn't even use full spectrum CBD because there is a chance of small amounts of THC being in there. The over-the-counter stuff is horrendous. All of the NSAIDs, aspirin, ibuprofen, um, naproxen, all of those are bad news. You should stay away from those. Opioids, obviously, are really bad, so we don't want to do that. There's not a lot left. Some of the muscle creams we've always used, they help, but for me, they don't really touch the deep pain. So I'm excited to try this. I'm doing a lot more reading on this, and I may even get somebody on the Destination Health show to talk with us about that. Um, Couple things for the new year. Um, Personally, myself, took the time off for several reasons here at the end of the year. One, because it's our slowest time on shows anyway. People are on vacation. Everybody's schedules are weird, so it's a good time for me to take some time off. And I was able to do something I've been struggling to do, boy, probably since COVID started, if I actually go back and look. The best way for me to start my day is to get up early, and 4:30 is my time. I like to wake up sometime between 4:30 and 5 without an alarm, and I have not been able to do it in years. And I've tried to reset it, and it's hard when I'm working because the first couple of nights I'm only going to get a couple of hours sleep. So I managed to get it reset. I wake up every morning now between 4:30 and 5, no alarm. That changes everything for me. Gives me time to focus on improving, learning, planning, and not just waking up and doing stuff that has to get done throughout the day. Once my day starts with the show, there's not a lot of time left for me for that kind of stuff, like goal setting, planning, meditating, reading, the things I really like to do and improve my life. And then by the time the workday's over, especially the show, I'm just too tired to really focus on those kind of things. So I'm excited to say I'm getting up early again. I'm going to start writing and tracking some goals, something I haven't done in a long time. And I've got an idea that I want to try, and I want to get your feedback on this. So One of the things about goal setting is staying on track, doing it consistently, and following through. Yeah, and that's what I struggle with. I'm great at writing goals. Uh, I've done it for years, but I don't always follow through. If I stay on this schedule, it's much easier for me because then I have that time in the morning to work on the goals before the day gets too crazy. But I could still use some help with accountability. When you have to answer to somebody else, did you do what you said you were going to do? Um, Having somebody to kind of keep you on track is a good thing. So I've got an idea for a show. It would probably be nothing set in stone yet, but I think the best time for me would be 7 a.m. Pacific time. It's not going to be a show here on the app. It would really be more of a group get together, and we would do it on the Let's Truck Tribe. That accomplishes two things for me. It keeps me accountable to the goals that I'm setting for myself, and it keeps me more active on the tribe site, which has been a struggle for me. So it would be really informal. We would just get together. We could use video, and I'll be on video. Anybody that wants to join me on the video could, or you can just sit and watch and listen. We could use chat. It's a little hard for me to monitor chat and talk at the same time, but I could try. And if you're in the truck, you should be able to figure out a way to just listen to the audio if you want. And the idea would be that we all hold each other accountable. So if you want to check in every day and say, "Yep, I'm staying accountable," or "No, I didn't do it today," that would be awesome. So I'm pretty sure I'm just going to try this. We'll see what happens. If I jump in there and nobody joins me, well, probably not a good idea. This doesn't cost anything other than the $3 a month you pay to be on the tribe site. We only do that just to keep out all the riffraff. So, um, lots of ways you can let me know if you're interested in this. You can call the show. It's a great way we could talk about it. Message me on X. If you're on X, is probably one of the best ways. Or you could always send an email to Tribe Care and let them know there. So I may try that next week. I don't think I'm going to start tomorrow, but I think I may start that next week. Something else that I just started to get back into again because I've got more time. Um, I decided that no matter how bad the weather is this year, winters are hard for me. I love being outdoors. I love the sunshine, but winters here are gloomy and wet and about 40 degrees most of the year. 30s to mid 30s to mid 40s and kind of wet and rainy. And it's just not pleasant to be outside. Well, I didn't think it was. This year I decided, you know what? I don't care if it's nasty out. Um, I can put on some rain suit and deal with it. And I spent most of my time um, over the break on my days off out at the farm working on the property, something I didn't do at all last year. Once winter hit last year, I just didn't do anything at all. Um, Learning some new skills out there, something that's fun for me. I've been working on machines my whole life, engines, vehicles, that kind of stuff. One of the things I'm not very good at is woodworking and construction kind of stuff. And with the homestead, I really want to start learning that. So I started with something fairly simple, setting a fence post, and I put a gate up at the end of the driveway because unfortunately, even though we're in a very small town and the homestead is 10 miles outside of a very small town, we're starting to see a lot of kind of petty theft, crime, people breaking into properties and stealing things. And so I decided to kind of beef up security out there. So I put a gate um, out at the end of the driveway. Pretty proud of myself for that. I got a nice rolling gate. Somebody said, when I posted a picture of it, somebody said, "Why didn't you go with an automatic gate?" And I said, "No, you know what? The property is really rustic, it's simple, and I want to keep it that way." An automatic gate out there with all the snow we get would be a pain, and if the power goes off, and I just thought I'm going to put in a nice, simple gate with a wheel on it, like is on the rest of the property, and I got that done. I've designed some pretty cool fencing that I want to put up using 4x4s and 16-foot cattle panels. So I'm going to start working on that. I also um, put Wi-Fi on the entire 6 acres of property because I use Wi-Fi. I use the internet all over the place. If nothing else, just to listen to music. And our cell signals out there are horrible. And I put in I started. I don't have all my parts yet, but I put in a couple trail cams for security out at the outer edges. And to catch all the wildlife, that should be fun to see. And I'll be putting in a security system as well out there. So Lisa and Chelsea and I were out there yesterday for New Year's. And when I was in the Army and I was stationed at Fort Lewis here in Washington, I lived in an apartment for 2 years that was on a lake. And we had a tradition, those 2 years that I was out there, we would do a cold plunge on January 1st. And even if we had to break some ice around the edges, we would do it. We have that creek that flows through the property. And right now it is really flowing well. It's deep and it's right off the back deck. So Chelsea and I did a cold plunge yesterday in the creek. It is just stunningly beautiful, and it was a great experience. So we're going to make that a weekly thing. We're going to go out once a week and do a cold plunge in the creek, and we videoed it. So Lisa was working on doing some editing to it. I'll post it later on X. I think Lisa posted some of it on Facebook. If you follow Lisa on Facebook, you can see it. That was fun. Had a great time. I'm also wearing a continuous ketone monitor. Kind of interesting to see what happens with ketones. I'm not sure I'm learning as much as I thought I would. I'm not sure I'm finding a whole lot of things that affect our ketones other than how you eat and maybe some resistance training. And the one thing I did find interesting, it's part of a daily pattern. So the daily pattern is overnight, for me anyway, my ketones dropped almost zero. And then in the morning, I always start with 2 tablespoons of mind fuel. And the whole point of mind fuel is to get ketone production. That's why we use it. And it works because I'll go from, zero point 0.1 or 0.2 up to about 1.5 within an hour. Well, let me take that back. I'll go up to about 1 or 1.2 maybe with just the mind fuel. I've also been working on that detox protocol, and a big part of the detox protocol is using the infrared blanket, the sleeping bag we sell in the store, the MyHigh. And if I get up and do the MyHigh first, I don't even have to drink the coffee with the mind fuel. And then I get out and start drinking my coffee. Within an hour, my ketones will be up to 1.5 or above. That's really high for me. I almost never get to those levels. So, other than that, it's a pretty clear pattern, really low in the morning when I wake up. If I do the right things, the mind fuel and the blanket, it climbs really nicely. And then it slowly comes back down the rest of the day. Some resistance training late in the afternoon seems to bump it up a little bit. So I think I've got maybe a week left on the sensor. The sensors are 2 weeks. I may get another one. It's not easy, though. You can't get them in the US yet because of the FDA. Had some other things I was going to talk about the FDA too, but honestly, the FDA should just be banned. That should be one of those 3-letter agencies we just get rid of and maybe start over, or I don't know, maybe just deal without it. So I will keep you updated on all of those things. There's a couple other things, but I'm going to get some phone calls. We don't have a whole lot of time today, Got about 40 minutes left. Jump in and join me. We're going to get to the calls. Let's go to Wisconsin. Tom, welcome.
Kevin, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thanks. I'll be quick. I know we're
no, that's okay. Hey, thank you for saying that.
Did you put?
Here's my new theme for the new year. It goes along with all of these things I want to accomplish. And my new theme is, tell me if you've heard this before, if you know where it comes from. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Yeah, well, that absolutely 100%. You know, the faster I go, the longer it takes me.
Absolutely, and I
think that was the.
Go ahead.
I think that was a SEAL team guys that said that.
Yep, that's a big thing in their training that kind of gets pounded into their head. Slow is smooth.
It's so
smooth.
True.
It is so true, and I'm so bad at it. I'm so bad at it, but not anymore. I'm not going to say that. I'm good at it now. It's my new theme.
I'm going to work on that. I'm going to work on that too. You know, just slow down and know what you know. Have a plan, and then but you get rushed, and then
I thought of something else.
Everything goes out the window.
You know this because I posted it on X this morning. It's been my theme for about a week, and it's really starting to settle in. I got so much done this morning, stuff I put off because I don't have time, like watching videos. A 15-minute video for me, I can't watch that. I don't have time. Today I watched this 15-minute video from 60 Minutes. I learned a ton in 15 minutes. So I went slow this morning, and I got so much more accomplished. I start off my morning now. When I have my coffee, I'm either going to go straight down to the infrared blanket some days. I can't do it too often because I get dehydrated and I have a hard time catching back up. And I'm also working on a lifelong goal. Lisa heard me say a couple weeks ago on the air that I wanted to learn how to play the piano, and I've wanted to learn my whole life, and I just always put it off, and I'm terrified of it. I'm afraid I just won't be any good at it, or I won't be able to learn it. And she got me this cool keyboard, and they're modular.
You posted it.
The keyboard has 24 keys, and you can put 4 of them together. They're magnetic. You just set them there and they click right together. But just these 24 keys and this software that teaches you with games and exercises, and you can play music. And when you play the music, all of the backing tracks are there. So it's like you're playing the piano in a band, and the vocals and everything are there. It is so cool. There's only one downside to that.
Does it light up?
It does. The keys light up so you know which key to hit.
Before to go to, that's what I'm.
Yeah.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah. And so my goal is not right now. This may change later on, but right now, my goal is not to learn how to read sheet music at all. My goal is to learn how to play the keyboard and memorize songs and just play from memory. And I would love to be able to do that, whether I could read sheet music or not. My goal would be just to memorize a bunch of songs.
Doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah. So, why would you want to? Why would you? Yeah. That's like getting your cursive writing better.
Exactly. You know? Right. If the point is, I just want to have fun, and I don't. So yeah, and so it's really cool. There's thousands of songs that it can teach you to play. The 2 that I really wanted aren't in there yet, but they add stuff all the time. I want to learn how to play Yanni because I love Yanni, and Meatloaf because Meatloaf is really piano heavy, and I like
Meatloaf.
That. Yeah,
man, I miss Meatloaf already.
I know.
I wonder if he got vaccinated. I swear to God, I wonder that all the time.
I bet. Yeah.
Hey, you didn't post a picture of your gate yet, though.
Yeah, I just finished it.
You just pictured the posts that looked like they were.
They were not crooked. They were not crooked. Those things are so dead straight. I swear they are within a 16th of an inch of being straight. And everybody looked at that picture.
Man, if you look at the picture,
they were like, "Don't you know what a level is?" I'm like, trust me, they are as straight as they could possibly be. It's just all the trees and the uneven background. And
if you're going to start working with wood, you got to know the difference between level and plumb. But
okay, it's plumb.
And then if you're going to start working with wood, yeah, if you're going to start working with wood, and I'm serious about this, man, do not take do not take your table saws or use them for what they're designed for. Don't think you're going to go in there and notch out a little piece of wood because I've got an inch left on this side right here. You will lose a finger, bro. I'm just telling you, you're going to lose a finger. I'm lucky to have all mine because I did a lot of stupid shit.
Here's the beauty of all of the stuff that's out there at the homestead. It is really rustic, butt joints, not a lot of angles, no trim, and I'm just going to keep it that way. If I want something trimmed out, I have a friend. He's Dutch. He's a great guy. He's like a 50-year master carpenter. If I want anything trimmed out, I'll let him come do it. I'm just going to do the really rustic, cut a 4x4, set it. Not a lot of trim because that's the way it is out there, and I like it. So I'm going to keep it that way.
When you're pouring your 4x4s, especially out there because it's wet all the time. Are you mixing your concrete before and putting it in, or are you putting the dry concrete in so you can move it a little bit?
So right now, because I was only setting 2 posts, I just mixed it in the hole. But if I'm going to buy a small mixer, maybe a 5, what are they, 5 liters?
Man, I built fence in Oregon for Rick's Fence and Deck I've worked for that guy probably for 5 or 6 years. And we dry poured everything. Poured the concrete in the hole, hit it with the hose, and then move along, man. Move along. And I'm telling you what, because it gets so much rain up there, that eventually, the ground's wet anyway. Eventually, it just it hardens, and you never know. We never had to go back and replace anything.
Maybe I'll just do it that way because that was pretty darn simple. That's the way I did these too.
Put the concrete. Don't mix it in the hole once you put the concrete in the hole. I'm serious, bro. And then you hit it with water with the water hose, or throw a little bit of water on there, and it's done deal. And you'll have people fight all day long on whether that's the right way to do it or not. And I'm just telling you, it works.
Yeah, I watched a bunch of YouTube videos, and they were saying, "Here's how you do it: dump the bag in, hit it with some water, move." And I did it, and it worked great. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, move on. Now there's another thing. You posted that something happened to you that you did that felt great or something, and I said you played the piano.
Oh yeah.
So you changed something, but you never said what it was.
Well, I did say I answered that question about 10 times in different places, but with X, sometimes it's hard to follow all the different conversations going on. It was the infrared blanket.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Getting up in the morning and getting in that infrared blanket before I even have coffee or anything is wonderful. And it's brought my stress levels down at night. Even though my sleep is not long, the quality is getting much better. I've got deep sleep, I've got REM sleep, and my stress levels while I'm sleeping are really low. The only thing I've got to try to manage, I can't do it every day. I'd like to, but if I do it every day, I cannot stay hydrated no matter how hard I try. I sweat off about 1 pound to almost 2 pounds some days. And no matter how hard I try, after 2 or 3 days in a row, I'm so dehydrated, I can't catch up. So I'm going to have to skip some days in between.
Another thing I was thinking about when you said you went to the cold plunge this summer, you should go build like a wooden gate with some concrete when you know that river is going to get high, and then put some flagstones in there, dig out like a little place to sit, and then that way in the wintertime you could lift that thing up, fill hole up real good.
That's already planned.
You know what I mean?
That's already planned. I'm going to dig out. So
okay.
Right by the deck, it makes a 90-degree turn. So it's deeper right there, and you can walk right off the deck right in. But I'm going to dig that out even deeper this summer. Then I'm going to line it with sand and pea gravel. And then I am going to build some steps down into it.
There you go.
And don't tell anybody in Washington State, because I don't think they want me messing with their creek, and they're kind of Nazis about that. But it's my creek. It's on my property.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah. Well, wait till they tell you it's navigable.
Yeah.
Because they
Yeah,
will.
I
Because they
know.
will, bastard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then okay, yeah, I know you. Yeah. So post a picture again. We'll say, oh, and then look up Kentucky fencing. Look up the 4-panel fencing because it looks great up there in the Pacific Northwest too, as opposed to the cattle guard that would look like. I just when you said that,
No,
I
you
wanted
should.
to come through the phone.
No, you have to look at these.
I
I've found pictures. Here's
yeah.
the design. They do and the nice thing is you can do 16-foot posts because the cattle panel's so rigid. But I've seen them where they do
Yeah,
the
that's
first
true.
3 feet on the bottom are a fine mesh so the little critters don't get in, and then maybe top that
Yeah.
off with another 4x4 even. And then they put the 16-foot cattle panel on top of that, which gives me height because I have to get electric on top of that to keep the elk out.
Yeah. Well, right. You're gonna what's gonna happen is that elk's gonna jump that fence, hit his nuts on that wire, and he's never gonna get out again. He's
Yeah,
gonna get in,
well,
and then he's gonna go like, oh man,
well, then I can
I'm not jumping that thing again.
then I can fill my freezer.
There you go. Right. Um. I sent you the link for the latest Tucker with the I don't know if you've heard of this guy. I'd love to have you get him on the show for Wednesday. But Brigham Young, Brigham Bueller. He was on
Never
the
heard
last
of him.
Tucker episode. Huh?
Never heard of him.
No. But so it's just too much to explain right now.
Okay, I'll watch it.
Very, very informative, and I think you'd enjoy it. There's that, and then Robert Malone. I heard him talking this morning on another podcast, and he claims that the pigs are getting the mRNA, and he's the one that designed that shit.
This is making me crazy.
Vaccine.
Yeah, that's making me crazy.
And we're gonna.
Did you see?
Yeah.
Did you
so
see the latest?
Watch where you buy your pigs.
Did you see the latest conspiracy theory going around?
About the fog?
The fog. Yep, that's the one.
Well, I sent you that, but okay, keep laughing. Yeah,
I have to laugh. What else can I do?
Yeah, it's right. Except that it, and then back in the '60s, off of the coast of California and Oregon, sure enough, and they called it sea foam, and they were putting and this is right from the government. They were putting shit in there, making it look like fog, and but then when it hit water, and if you look down at some of the videos on YouTube, or not on YouTube, on YouTube or X. They were on
Okay.
X too. When that foam that they had was hitting their swimming pools down in Florida, that's exactly what it looked like, man. It looked like sea foam.
All right.
I'm all like, I'll be damned,
I know.
man.
It's crazy.
So it's crazy until it ain't.
I know. All right, I'm looking at the board, and everybody wants to talk.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon. Let's head off to Pennsylvania. Gene, what's on your mind this morning?
Hey, good morning. Happy New Year, Kevin.
Happy New Year.
Hey, sidebar, the electronics book.
Yes.
My wife told me it arrived at the house. And
Good.
Since I've been out since the 10th, I'll be home today. I'll be getting my hands on it. Thank you for getting that back to me.
You're welcome. Thank you for lending it to me.
Yes, sir. So you were talking about is it the DMSO? Is that the application?
Yeah, dimethyl sulfoxide.
Does it work for nerve damage?
Yes,
as well?
that is that's why it works for pain, because it blocks the signal at the nerve. And
my condition that I was in Desert Storm.
Okay.
And I was in the direct fallout so when we went into Iraq, they found an ASP yard at Camiseo. It had sarin, anthrax, and mustard. They blew the bunker up.
Ooh.
And sarin is a chemical nerve agent.
Right.
I've been studying this now for 30 years, trying to deal with the VA. Finally making some headway with the VA.
Okay.
It's been the sarin is the cause of a lot of my pain, discomfort. I always thought it was, arthritis or something in the knees.
Right.
I was just at the physiatrist. They
So-
checked me. He says there is small amounts of arthritis, but very negligible. And it's more the nerve damage, and it's through my whole body now. It started at my knees. It's progressed the whole way up through my body. It's even in my jaw now. If I
So
lay on
now,
my side at night, it'll push my.
from what I've been able to gather on the research I've done so far, and if you watch this video, and it's just a 15-minute excerpt they took out of 60 Minutes from 1980. The one case is a woman who was in a car crash and she got whiplash in her neck and shoulder. She had all this pain. And for her, she went 2 years, nothing the medical system did was working. And finally, they told her, you just have to live with it. He actually injected it. It was intravenous for her. And it took, I think it was less than 2 weeks. And she was pain free. You know, it was really interesting. When 60 Minutes was interviewing her, she was smoking during the interview. I forgot all about stuff like that. We used to smoke on airplanes. Not we. I smoked for about a year. That was it.
Yeah,
But it was just so weird to see somebody sitting through a 60-minute interview smoking.
yeah. Now something else and this is through a research center that the VA has, War-Related Illness Injury Research Center. They developed around 2008 or 2009. And they've been doing more in-depth research on the causations and effects from all combat situations they're focused on.
Yeah.
There was a supplement that they are testing now. It's called NAC. N-acetylene. I can't. You'd have to look it up. It's a supplement. It's an amino acid.
It's in Cardio Miracle. N-acetylcysteine.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, N-acetylcysteine.
Oh,
we
maybe
use
that's
it.
why the cardio.
Yep, we use it a lot, and it's in Cardio Miracle. Now, that was their last new formulation. They added N-acetylcysteine, NAC, and glutathione, which is the master antioxidant, and then the other stuff we believe in, the mushroom powders, the adaptogen mushrooms. Those were the 3 additions, and that's why they had to change the taste, because those 3 things together taste really nasty, and they had to overcome that.
Yeah, I don't even the new tastes for the
I like
Cardio
it.
Miracle. I still find, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. We had a lot of people complain about it, but that was the reason, and they did add the NAC.
Okay. How much NAC is in that? Because the recommendation was 900 milligrams twice a day.
I'd have to go look. I could look that up pretty quick, but I don't
Okay.
have it right in front of me.
Yeah, I could look at when I get home. I have the bags at home there. I could pull it out and look.
Yeah, if you have the new
It's,
formulation, you'll see it in there.
Okay. Yes, they said the NAC is actually it detoxes your body through some of the. I guess the chemicals have been. Yeah, once that sarin is in there, it hangs out forever.
Well, then you'd really be interested. 250 milligrams. Angie got it for me.
Okay.
So if you're looking for 900, is this per serving? Yeah. So if you did 2 servings a day, which is what I'm doing now, you'd be at 500. You could supplement a little more somewhere else.
Yeah, as I looked on Amazon, they had the NAC in 600 and 900. The 900 was much more expensive, but I also wanted to get the more pure form.
Right. Here's what you should know about NAC. The FDA is trying to ban it as a supplement and make it a pharmaceutical.
Well, I was contacted by the VA clinic. They're doing a double-blind study on NAC.
Yeah,
and the VA does not refer to it as Gulf War illness. They call it chronic multi-symptom illness.
Of course, right. Yeah. When the FDA is trying to ban it, that's when I get interested in it.
So if it goes through the double-blind study and approved, it'll actually be a line item that the VA can prescribe.
Yeah.
After 30 years, the VA has taken me to 80% service connected now. So.
Oh, sheesh. All right. What else you got, Gene?
And I think that's it. I'm going to say Happy New Year and
Happy New Year
along
and
in my 23.
Thanks for your service, and I'm sorry you've had to go through what you've had to go through with the VA.
Oh, thank you. It's my father just passed away in October, and I was almost had him convinced to go to the VA because he was in Vietnam in 1967, but he was stubborn and didn't want to go. It's for the guys that really need it, as he put it. So, like, no, you were there, you earned it. It's not a free
That's
thing.
right.
You earned it.
That's right. You more than earned it. I just wish it was better.
Yeah. It's now, on a side note, in the last 10 years, I've seen an improvement within the VA itself.
That's good to hear.
Things have gotten better, especially since they allow for care in the community where you don't have to necessarily go to, if they can't get you in the VA, you can go to an outside doctor and if they approve it.
Good. All right. Take care, and we will talk to you again soon. Let's go to Indiana. Jeff, welcome.
Yeah, dry bagging's the way to go. Fill your hole, put your post in, dry bag it, cover it with dirt, and be done.
Now, see, I was a little freaked out about the whole thing. How is this going to mix? It's just going to sit there in big clumps. So even though I dry bagged, I got in there with a stick and was mixing it around, and now I think I'm pretty confident. Hit it with the hose and move on.
Well, yeah, Kyle Concrete guy told me it will suck in as much water as it needs, and when it is done, it's done, and that it will take what it wants when it needs it.
That was gonna be my next question, because I was careful about, putting in 1 gallon per bag or whatever the ratio is, and then when he said hose, I'm like, well, how do you know how much water you're putting in?
You don't.
Well, this is getting.
If you want. And what you do is you throw the dirt back on, and if the dirt's wet, it settles the dust down, and it'll suck it right from all sides, from the bottom, from everywhere.
This is getting easier all the time.
Oh, hell yeah. I landscaped a few summers in college, and we put in split rail. He goes, what the hell are you mixing that for? He goes, dry bag it and throw the dirt back on top. I'm like, all right.
So let me ask you this. I was digging the hole, but I went by all the, formulas, 12-inch hole for a 4x4 post and, 30% below the ground or whatever that ratio was. And it was taking just about 2.5 bags. So would you dump 2.5 bags in before you added the water, or do you dump a bag in and add some water, dump a bag in, that kind of thing?
No, you just dump the bag in. It will. Yeah, it'll, especially up there.
I'm loving this.
It'll suck in what it needs from
but
the
not
dirt
too
around
much.
it. I mean, if it's wet, no, it'll just take what it wants, what it needs, and however it needs it.
Oh, I'm
you
loving
go back
this.
there and try to pull it out, and you'll get a stick full of concrete.
Perfect.
It's amazing. I go, you can't do that. He goes, my ass, get moving. We got a lot of these to put in.
I even if I do the whole 16 foot, which I really think I want to do, it's just a clean look. You don't see as many posts. I still have, man, I'll bet I'm still going to have 50 of these to put in, and I could do more. There's a lot of stuff I'm going to expand the whole center garden out and redo everything that's on the property, because almost all the fencing on the property now is metal poles and wire rolls. I want to get rid of all that stuff, and it's all 40 years old.
Yeah, because I just put in a new lamp post, a little one in your front yard, and here's the neat thing: like at the Home Depot, they sell like 10-pound bags, so I don't have to get a 40-pound bag.
Yeah.
So you just dug the hole, put the light post in there, throw some pea gravel in there, and I dumped the 10-pound bag and filled it with dirt. That's it.
Perfect.
It'll suck in what it needs.
Perfect.
But getting back to what you had said about slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Yeah.
Last year, I've been at this job quite a long time. I just turned 60, but there was a time in my production, I would run and run and run the production and go and run 8 batches. And I never had time in between to tweak things or do things or to fix things because it would take so long. So what I decided is I'm going to run 6 batches instead of 8 and have time in between to tweak them. And it didn't take maybe a day longer, but my scrap rate went way down because I was calmer, I was smoother, I was paying more attention. I had time to fix those little things. And when I left at the end of the day, I wasn't a nervous fucking wreck because I was going to have to go do this for 2 weeks straight.
Exactly. That I get so frantic when I have a lot of stuff to do and I'm rushing and I'm stressed and I'm like, I got to get. And now I just said, just stop, just slow down.
Yeah.
Do things when you want to do them. Take your time. I have the rest of my life to get this stuff done. It's not like I'm on some kind of a schedule. I don't even know why I rush like that. There's nobody behind me going, you got to get more done today. It's just me.
Right.
So
yeah, it was absolutely me driving myself and driving myself nuts. And I'm like, you know who can stop this? You.
That's
I'm
it.
like, oh yeah, I can. So I did, and oh my God.
What a difference.
Yeah, I know. It just, because the profit goes up because the scrap rate's lower.
Yeah.
You're not using any more
quality
product.
Gets better.
It just
your
time is your time. And it's just like, man, if I'd have done this 20 years ago.
So yesterday, part of the project I was working on at the property was putting internet across the property. And it's going to be a mix of hardwired, but hardwired, you can only run about 100 feet of Cat 6 before you start losing performance. So I'm going to hardwire where I can, and then I'm going to use Wi-Fi on the rest of the property. And in the past, it would have been like, I got to get this done in a day. There's no reason not to get this done in a day. And I would have, all kinds of shortcuts. And at the end, I wouldn't be happy with the way I did it, but it would be done. So yesterday I'm looking at the clock, and I kind of screwed something up. I was building, instead of buying a pole, I looked around and I had all this wood, and I said, I don't need to go buy something. I can just make something to get this antenna. And I put it up on top of the greenhouse, and I got done and I screwed up one part of it. And I thought, should I redo this whole thing, or should I just hack this thing together now that I screwed it up? Yeah. And I thought, you know what? Who cares if it gets done today? It's not like I need it. Just take your time and do it right. So I just started over nice and slow, did that part over, and I'm not done now. The project isn't finished, but I'm really happy with the work I got done.
Absolutely. If you can look back at the end of the day and go, I could have, I'm just making up numbers. I could have gone another 17 feet.
Right.
But what I got done is perfect, and I'm happy. I have tomorrow or the next week or whatever, I can do the rest.
That's exactly, I'm looking at this fencing and saying, you know what if I only get 2 or 3 posts set when I'm out there? Big deal. I'll get 2 or 3 more the next time I go out there.
Well, and then before you know it, and you're not out there going, oh, Jesus Christ, I got to get 100 of these things in there. You're like, oh, okay, there's 4 more. There's 4 more, and a couple of days later, you get 6, and you're like, all of a sudden, you're like, oh, hell, I'm done.
And here's the other thing that was shocking to me. I just decided I cannot sit in the house all winter like I did last year. I've got to get out. I've got to do something. Yeah. What do I want to do? And I thought, I really want to be out at the homestead, but what am I going to wear? It's raining. So what? It's rain. It's not hard rain. It drizzles here most of the time. And it might be going back and forth from rain to snow. We get a lot more snow out there than we do here. And so I put on some rain gear and I started doing my thing. And I realized, I love this. I could stay out here all day. So what? It's wet. It's beautiful out here, and I'm having fun. And in the summertime, there's so much to do that I can't get it all done. I have the gardens to take care of, which is where I spend most of my time. And then if I go to do a project, I rush through it and I'm unhappy with it. Now there's no garden to deal with and I can work on projects and there's no hurry because I have all winter, which was just wasted time before. So now I don't care what the weather is. I'm going to go out there and work on something.
Oh, absolutely. And if I'm picturing this, that you're out here all alone with nobody around in this,
absolutely,
all this acreage.
Yes.
Just stand in the middle of it and scream, "Fuck you," and just look around and go, "Oh, there's nobody here. I can say whatever I want."
That's right. There's nobody. Hey, Jeff, got to run. I got 2 more calls I got to grab before the time's up.
All right, great.
Talk to you soon. Yeah, call me back. Let's go to Connecticut. Fred, Happy New Year.
Good. Happy New Year, Kevin. Good morning.
Morning.
Just how's the homestead? Seems like it's coming along pretty good. I haven't really been in touch.
I
what
was
you're doing out there.
Just absolutely, I couldn't have been happier every day I was out there. And then Lisa and Chelsea came out yesterday and it was snowing and Diesel had a ball in the snow and we did the cold plunge and I'm just going to enjoy that property this winter. I just let it sit there all winter and only did the bare minimum and not this year. I was just
well,
as happy as
we get all of these sayings like "sow and steady win the race," right?
Yeah,
that's really what this is all about. I always my son, real quick, he works at a grocery store down in Texas, and he calls me up about a month ago, and he's crying. I'm like, "Are you okay?" I had an accident. What happened? He was rushing around. He had a 1 o'clock start in the afternoon, and he pulls into a spot, and he hits it a little wide, and he hits the car next to him. And I said, "I'm not mad because you had the accident. I'm mad because you're rushing around at 1 o'clock in the afternoon."
Right.
I said, every time I've made a mistake is when I was rushing around and not paying attention, trying to get stuff done. And, just like you said, you tried to jerry rig a poll and it came out unsatisfactory to your taste.
Yeah. And before I would have just moved on to the next rushed project. And then every time I see those projects, it bothers me.
Exactly. I am the same. I have been the same way in the past.
I'm glad it only took me 61 years to figure it out.
Well, some people never figure it out, Kevin.
That's right.
So there you go.
That's right.
I'll tell you what. I don't know if the economy's back, but it sure is over here. I thought I was going to be slow. I actually sent a check out and bought a reefer trailer to try to hedge my bets up here.
Nice.
And I just landed a direct client with my tanker that seems to think that they're going to use me year round here.
Wow. That's exciting.
Yeah. And my wife's like in the background tapping her foot. You had to buy that other trailer. And I'm like, well, if hindsight was 2020, I said, what am I going to tell you? So what are you going to do with it? I said the same thing I did with everything else. I'll sell it if I don't need it.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. That's.
Well,
congratulations.
I was contemplating on financing it just to keep some capital.
Right.
And after I looked at rates and everything, and I said, you know what? I said, I'm fine. And I just mailed the check out.
Good.
And then I was funny. So I called the guy 2 weeks ago when I mailed the check out to him. I said, listen, I'm overnighting you the check. I said, can you hold? It's out. The trailer's out in the Midwest. I said, can you hold on to it till after the new year? And he says to me, the check? And I said, no, not the check. The check is fine. Cash it. I said, the trailer. And he said, yeah. He says, I have plenty of room. He says, just let me know when you want to come out and get it. So, but yeah, and I thought I was going to be slow through Christmas and through New Year's, and I have been busier than I wanted. The only downfall is it's up in New England, this work, and I really don't want to run New England, but I mean, the money is right.
You know what this is starting to feel like to me, and I really hope it is? It's starting to feel like when we came out of the Carter years in the late 70s with stagflation and all the problems and the hostage crisis. And the late 70s and Carter looked a lot like the last 4 years in Biden. The country's a mess. Everybody was negative. I feel like I've been in a funk for 4 years since COVID.
Yeah.
And now I finally, and then I think to myself, you idiot, why did you let all that stuff get you in a funk? I didn't have to be like that. I could have,
Right.
but I don't know why. And now all of a sudden, everybody I know feels much more optimistic. I must only know, conservatives, because they're all optimistic and everybody's happy again. And I'm setting, goals again, and I'm feeling like a new person. And then I thought to myself, why did I wait for this? But I'm hoping we're heading into another decade like the 80s. The 80s were really good for me. I mean, that was a great
Oh
time.
yeah.
And it's starting to feel like that again.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't have any numbers. The week of Christmas than I ever have.
There you are. I lost you for a minute.
All right. I said, I believe that I've made more money this year, Christmas week, than I ever have in the past in this business, in this industry. They called me for 3 loads right before Christmas, and I said, well, I'm going to give you an obscene number to myself. So I did, and they wound up taking it. And then they said, well, listen, we've been dealing with brokers, and we really want relationships with a carrier. This is what some of the brokers are giving us on that lane. If you did this steady year round, would you be able to match it? And I said, sure, and so I did the numbers yesterday when I was home, and the run, just the daily part of the run, daily expenses on the run, it's a 1-day thing, is about $600 with the tolls and the fuel, roughly. The fuel is going to fluctuate. But after everything is done, not fixed costs, I am clearing over $3 a round trip mile with this stuff.
Wow, nice.
It's I mean, and they gave me the rate, and I'm happy. And I said to her, I said, listen, I have to do all my numbers. I said, so if I had to revisit these rates, would you be open to that? And she said, absolutely. She said, the rates that we paid Christmas week was for Christmas, but we'd rather have a relationship. Then they called me Tuesday when I was on my way down, loading, and she had one of the COOs or CFOs, and he said the one guy I've been dealing with at one of the facilities speaks so highly of me, and that my name has been passed around, and they're looking forward to a long-lasting relationship with me. So I was like, wow, I was blown away. So it's I don't know. I'm hopelessly optimistic.
Excellent. Well, call me and let's talk about it some more. I'm going to grab one more call.
You got it. All right, have a good day.
Take care. All right, let's go to Florida. Pat, welcome.
Hi, Kevin. DMSO and leg cramps.
Yeah.
Stops them in 90 seconds.
Boy, the more I hear about this stuff,
from personal experience.
How have they managed to keep this so suppressed for so long?
Money.
That's unbelievable, isn't it? We knew about it in the 60s. They were talking about it in the 80s. I remember it. I didn't use it, but I had a couple experiences with people who did. Everybody thought it was amazing. And then before I knew it, I just never heard about it again, ever, until just recently.
Right. There's a lot of more things like that, too. Whatever happened to BFI? When you cut yourself and you sprinkled some powder on your cut? I think they invented that in World War I. It was gone by the 80s.
Yeah, now you have to look back at all this stuff and say, how much better could our life have been if the FDA and people like Fauci just never existed, or we didn't give them all the power we gave them?
Right. I'm going to try with the DMSO. I'm going to try 50% mixture, dropping my right eye, because it's supposed to work on macular degeneration. And I'm 20/20 in the left eye. I'm 2200 in the right eye.
Well,
hopefully I'll dissolve some.
The interesting thing, I was scrolling my news feed this morning, and up pops an article about DMSO, and I know I've been researching it, but up pops an article on DMSO from Dr. Mercola, and it was about macular degeneration.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He sort of gets the same feed that you're probably getting from AMD.
Yeah.
A Midwestern doctor.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And and there's, that guy's great. I don't know who he is, but imagine what NVIDIA is going to do with AI when they do the same thing that a human's doing, that this doctor's doing, reading all this stuff and doing all the research. They can do it in 10 minutes, and we'll know everything within a couple of 2 years if they let it out. We'll know everything that used to be holistic that works.
Yeah, as much as I'm afraid of what AI could do, I'm certainly using it for the benefits of it right now. It helps me with my writing. It's still all my writing, but it just makes it better. And I'm working on a specific AI bot. I'm actually using AI to help me program AI, because I could never program this kind of stuff myself, but you can learn some fairly simple stuff and then let AI do the coding. And I'm working on creating a bot that will help me do my research and just summarize everything for me.
Sounds like you're creating a self-aware bot.
Well, I don't want it to be self-aware. I just want it to do the heavy lifting.
A bot to control other bots.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, it looks like we've got Mike in here. Kevin seems to be missing in action, but I'm going to cut you loose and get Mike started. All right, talk to you soon. All right, Mr. Beckett, good morning and Happy New Year.
That's me. Well, Happy New Year to you too.
Did you have a good holiday?
I did. It was a fine holiday. No big problems. Got together with the family, and we're getting a little snow right now. And the temperatures for the holidays were above freezing, so we were happy.
Very nice.
And during the next 10 days, they don't show a temperature above freezing, and many of them are down in the teens. So we're going into a cold snap.
Ooh. So I had a wonderful holiday as well. Best one in a long time. Just nothing spectacular. Just very, very nice and pleasant. I took time off, so I got caught up on a lot of stuff. And yesterday, to ring in the new year, Chelsea and I went out to the homestead, and we took a cold plunge in the creek while it was snowing.
Ooh, cold plunge.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, cool. Well, Kevin's on the phone with us too.
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
All right. Well, Kevin, good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right.
It'll be a great one.
I think so. I think so. I was just saying, Mike, you'll remember this well. I was just saying I was just kind of growing up and paying attention to what was going on in the world during the late 70s. And it was kind of a mess. We had the hostage crisis. We had stagflation. Mortgage rates were 18%. I mean, it was just no jobs. I lived in the Midwest in Ohio, and that's when the Rust Belt was just decimated. The steel mills were closing. All the factories were moving out. I talked about it before. You could drive around all day because you had to drive around and put in applications, and put in 10 or 15 applications for minimum wage jobs, which, if I remember right, at the time was like $2.65 an hour, and never get a single call back.
Yep.
Remember those days?
There was a time.
Yeah.
Yep, I do remember those days.
Then it just seemed like when the whole Reagan thing, the optimism, on day one, he got the hostages out, the economy turned around, and the 80s it was a really good decade. I graduated in 81 and then got out of the Army in 85, started a business, right? It was just the 80s were just fun. There was money to be made. There were opportunities. It was just I'm almost feeling like that might happen again. We've just had, we've been in a funk for a while as a country, and it's just feeling like there's more optimism now.
Cool. We need the business.
I know.
Yes.
We could use it too. We could use a little fun.
Yeah, everything would be great. Yeah.
One other thing, and then I'll let you guys go. I'm telling everybody this, so I hold myself accountable. I started working on a lifelong goal over the holidays, and I'm going to stick with it.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to learn how to play the piano and keyboards.
Whoa.
I know.
Oh.
I know.
I did that. I took lessons
you?
from my aunt in the 80s.
Yeah.
And I learned how to play. And what I learned is that my little hands and my little fingers aren't far enough apart to reach all the notes as easily as I need them to be.
Get this. So here I said this on the air a month or so ago that I've wanted to my whole life. I love piano music and I've wanted to learn, and I've always been afraid of it. I have really small hands. I'm not all that coordinated, especially with my left hand. It's just awful. So I've always been, and for some reason, it's one of those things that terrifies me that I won't be able to learn how to do this. And I'm usually good at learning things, but this has always freaked me out. And I was talking about it on the air, and Lisa heard me. She went and found this keyboard. It's a company called Roli, Roli. And the keyboard is modular. So there's 4 pieces, and you can buy just one and play on just 24 keys. And it's got software. So you put your iPad right there in front of you, and the keys light up as you're supposed to play them. And so you don't even have to learn how to read sheet music at all in the beginning. And I have no plans on learning how to read music. I want to learn how to memorize songs and play for the fun of it. So this keyboard is just incredible. And when you're playing and practicing a song, you get all of the backing tracks, including vocals. So it feels like you're playing in the band while you're learning how to play this. And here's the other thing.
Well, that's fantastic.
I forget the number. Is it 1.5 or 5.5? The keys on these are smaller than traditional pianos and keyboards because they said most people just can't do it because their hands are too small.
Right.
Right. Cool. Well, that's impressive. I mean, why wouldn't you make smaller keys for smaller hands? It never really made sense to me.
So
not everybody has these gigantic
Here's something
hands.
else that I have. I don't even understand this because I don't really know anything about music. There's another device that this company makes, and it almost looks like an old-fashioned desk lamp, and it sits right in front of your keyboard, and then it's got a thing up on top, and it's actually a camera. So I guess especially with like synthesizer kind of keyboards, but even piano, you have the keys and then you have effects, right? The pedal and all the other things. I don't know what any of that stuff does. But with this camera, you can play with one hand and use hand gestures with the other hand for all kinds of effects on each note.
I see. I see, like an organ almost.
I don't even know.
Well, it's a synthesizer. It's even better.
Yeah. It's very cool.
Great.
Now, see, what I always wanted to learn to play was a guitar. And the neck on the guitar is too big to fit my hand around.
See, I would have that problem, I think.
Yeah. So the only thing I could really play and get my hand around the neck was a ukulele.
Ah, there you go.
Ukulele, 4 strings.
There you go.
Yeah.
But
you can make some really good sounding ukulele music.
Yeah, but I really looked silly in a grass skirt and coconut, so I didn't do it.
I've seen you in Hawaiian shirts. That works.
Yeah. Okay.
That would work.
Hawaiian. I've seen him in the grass skirt, so it's not a good thing. And that's the thing. You can't get him to stop wearing the grass skirt.
Oh boy!
Because as soon as he picks up the ukulele, there it goes.
Yep, they go together.
That sounds
the way
like
I was
fun.
raised.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All righty, buddy.
You guys ready to start your show?
If we have to.
We are. Yeah.
Yeah. You do. All right. I will get out of your way. Have a great day.
Same to you.
All right.
Take care.
Happy New Year. All right.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, this is a reversal. You're there at the office, and I'm here on the phone.
Yeah.
And we're doing the Rolling Toe show here on Collin Studio. And you're Mike, and I'm Kevin. We're the Beckett's with MD Alignment, doing the Rolling Toe show on January 2nd of 2025.